Thank you, thank you. So I think we will talk and cook and cook and talk at the same time because I think that's the best way. Also, I realized that when I gave Xie the ingredients, it was for 40 dumplings per person, which for me is basically 4 servings per person. And my husband says that it's 1.5 for him, whatever. So at this moment, what I thought would be the best way, and it's also good practice, as we say, practice makes perfect. What we'll do is that we will actually basically for today, cook half of the stuff. The other half you keep in the fridge. And then over this weekend, you can then take them out again and continue practicing making dumplings, because as you can tell, it is a skill. It is a skill with your hands. And so the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. Does it make sense? And I hope everybody's okay. So you remember that I had given you 2 options of greens. One is the chives, which I think you have. And then the other is the Shanghai Bok Choy, which I already chopped up here. Okay, the other 3 things that make up the filling is very simple: egg, tofu, and mushrooms. Pretty straightforward, right? So what I would like to do is this, is that you can decide today whether you would like the chives in your dumplings, or whether you would like to have the Shanghai Bok Choy as your sort of green leaf part of the filling. Either way, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Once you chop it up, it's all the same. No, it's not all the same. It's actually a wonderful, subtle difference in taste. And that's another thing that would be good for you as you try your next round of doing it, to experiment with a different leafy green. So what I will most likely do is I'll do the Shanghai Bok Choy, because this one has shape and is a little bit more difficult. As you can tell with the chives, once you chop it into very small bits, they're just like little diced green leaves. And so that's not too much difficult, not difficult at all actually, to differentiate. But first of all, we have to start with the egg. I think everybody has 4 eggs. Let's just say that today we will use 2 eggs. 1 egg is actually to make a little omelet. Okay, that's simple, right? Do I have to actually demonstrate? Okay, everybody start making your omelet. Okay, I will demonstrate. Okay, a little light heat. I really deliberately made sure that I have my laptop is on my stove, FYI, so that I can help you all. It's a very simple thing, a very light omelet. And just remember that when we make Chinese food, and also everybody knows the word egg fouillon, which is a very Chinese American dish. Egg fouillon is that really the egg or whatever it is. Oh, my husband is coming at me. Oh, that's great. Xie, I think we now have my husband doing the very special iPhone. Oh, okay, fine. I'm sorry. But the thing is, it's very, very simple. And what I normally like to do is add a little bit of salt, but really I'm talking about a pinch, okay? Literally a pinch of salt. And what we do is just make a very, very light egg stir fry. Scrambled eggs, literally. We're talking about scrambled eggs, but not turning it brown. We want it to be a scrambled egg that just looks very, very comfortable and soft, okay? And that should take literally how many minutes? 1.5 minutes. And then once that is done, we will take it out on a plate and just let it cool down, because eventually this scrambled egg is actually part of the filling, okay? And so you can tell my husband is so wonderful. You see my scrambled egg, I try to make sure that even the scrambled part of the egg in the fry and all that, this is still nice and wonderfully yellow rather than having brown spots, which is, the Chinese don't like to have suntan, same thing. That's a joke. Is anybody laughing? I don't know. Okay, no, we just use 1 egg. There's a question here, thank you. 1 egg per portion. I think, Anna, your household is currently 3 people. Make a 3-egg omelet. Because with a 3-egg omelet, you are going to then end up with somewhere around 60 dumplings for the 3-person household of I-House North. Okay, so that's really all it is. Done? Everybody happy? I'm just going to put it on a plate. If I can, well, actually, I'll even put it in a bowl here. It's easy. Okay, so just put it back into the bowl. It's okay because the egg will eventually also then get mixed up. Now, you see that I deliberately kept, and there is a little bit of oil in the egg. Okay, I am Chinese, which means that we use up every single little bit of the ingredient and whatever it is in our cooking.
Remember, there's a question now. There's a question. 1 egg per portion?
1 egg per portion. So the 3-person household should be 3 eggs because they should have at this moment received 12 eggs, right?
Right.
Okay. Now the mushrooms, and I'm just picking half of the mushrooms, happens to be 2 big ones for me. And what I will do is, Ken, I'm just now going to, because the mushrooms have already been, what do I call it? They're soaked, okay? The mushroom is soaked through, and yes, I do have a very lovely cleaver. I love my cleaver. This is a great cleaver. This cleaver was bought from Hong Kong, and I had to smuggle it into my suitcase because it cannot go with me in the carry-on. Actually, no, I have an even bigger cleaver. Oh, I like that.
Oh my God.
Okay, fine, stop.
Very nice.
Okay. So basically what I do is that I'm gonna now dice the mushroom. So really, we are talking about very thin slices. Are you actually showing it? You have to be closer. Very, very thin slices, okay? These are thin slices, okay? And then once I'm done with that, I'm now gonna actually just chop it up. Okay? And the thing is also, a lot of people like to have their dumplings to be in sort of what I would call the dumpling filling as mush. I don't like it. I like the dumpling fillings still to have the distinctness of each of the ingredients. So I want the ingredients to still have some sort of an identity rather than being mixed in as just one huge filling. Okay, so this is kind of basically what I like already. And Ken, you want to just show how small these are? Is everybody clear? Those who are following me at I-House North, please ask questions, anybody who's not clear, just say it. Okay.
Do we use all the mushrooms?
No, half.
Okay.
Whatever you're given, let's do half, because really, I don't think you should be making 40 dumplings to eat in one go tonight. It's not good for you. 20 dumplings is about enough. And maybe you don't even finish all 20 dumplings, which means that you can actually freeze some of them for later use. I tell you, frozen dumplings in your freezer is a very good late night snack when you're writing your term papers, okay? Okay, so basically here, I would say half of the mushrooms that were given to you, chop it up into small parts. And what I'm gonna do is this, I'm gonna now fry it in the oil that is left. But when I fry it in the oil that is left, I actually add somewhere around, I would say half a teaspoon of sugar. It's interesting. Believe me, this is something that is a Chinese tradition. Mushrooms actually should be cooked with sugar. And actually just do it again, very, very light. We just want it to be cooked, okay? And that the mushroom, if it doesn't have the sugar to go with it first, will end up bitter. And that's why. Okay, and I see that we have some Chinese students from I-House. I hope they agree, or maybe they have learned that from their mothers. Anybody concur? I don't know, I don't hear anybody. Okay, so that's basically it. Just a little bit of oil, a little bit of sugar, and actually, I love smelling. And so let's just smell. If you smell it, you will smell that the mushroom doesn't have a bitter taste. Because often, just now when you were just checking out the soaked mushroom, it is actually slightly bitter. And with that little bit of sugar in that little light fry, that bitterness is taken out. Okay? Good. Now it's very simple. Now it comes to the tofu that we talked about, and I already took half of it out. So again, half, okay? Half of the tofu that was given to you. If you open it up, okay, this is a big tofu and half of it is about this size. Okay, this is half the tofu, and this is important. Right by your sink, hold your tofu, and actually, this is fun. Squeeze it slightly because you will see that there is water coming out. And this is, Ken, I'm sorry you have to do this. My husband is a fantastic cameraman. He actually doesn't normally work in film, but today he is. Okay, you see that little drops of water coming down? A little bit. You see that? Because tofu is made of soy and water, there's a lot of water that is actually trapped inside. We are trying to make a filling that is not watery, because if it is watery, can you imagine when you fry it? So all sorts of things will come out. So I'm just kind of squeezing it. Okay, fine. You can just try and not squeeze it too hard. Okay, not too hard, but you try and extract as much water possibly out of it. Okay, now that we're done, chop the tofu in little bits. Okay, half of your brick of tofu, the other half put back in the fridge. Okay, and again, I'm doing this.
So you're chopping it coarsely.
Very coarsely. As long as, okay, I mean, as long as it's sort of some sort of a diced tofu, it really doesn't matter. Also remember later on when we do the filling and we mix the filling, whatever that is of the tofu will eventually actually get, get broken up or broken down. Is everybody catching up, or am I doing too fast? If I'm doing too fast or too slow, just tell me, okay?
You're chopping at a very good pace.
Well, I'm a good chopper.
Joanna, are the mushrooms supposed to still be cooking, or are they just?
No. Mushrooms are done. Mushrooms just a light fry of, I would say, 2 minutes, and we're done. Just to make sure that the water of the mushroom is taken out. Also, the sugar part, the sugar is kind of cooked into the mushrooms. Okay?
So not cooked long enough to caramelize.
No, do not caramelize. Actually, if you caramelize, it's okay, just don't burn. Please don't burn. Don't burn, don't burn, don't burn. Okay? Okay, is that quite clear? Is everybody clear as to how the tofu is being made? It's really pretty simple.
Yes.
Husband, okay? And don't worry if it is not completely chopped in very small bits. Okay, we're almost ready. One last thing, the ginger. I hope everybody has a little ginger. I already peeled mine. Peel your ginger. And then after peeling your ginger, dice it. And if you start worrying that you don't have enough space on your chopping board, you can just start putting the tofu inside the big mixing bowl.
Is it an option to grate the ginger, or is it better to dice it?
You can grate it. I like dicing it because then when you actually bite into it, the chopped part of it will be very prominent.
And someone has just asked a question, all tofu, and you're saying no, half tofu, right?
Half a brick of tofu, not all. Everything is just half the tofu.
Do we saute the tofu?
No, we don't. Very good question. We don't saute the tofu. Everything else is sauteed enough. You'll be fine. Because remember, today we are not making boiled dumplings. We are actually making fried dumplings. So the fried quotient will be taken care of. You'll enjoy your fried part, okay? So I'm now going to very quickly just chop up the ginger. I like it chopped up. Husband, you want to show chopping? Okay, you realize something about Chinese cooking? Chinese cooking is super labor intensive. So now I have to tell you the great story. I did not learn cooking from my mother. My mother, very lucky in her life, have always had house help. And so the house help, the poor ladies, were like always chopping everything. And my mother, who actually is a fantastic cook, can say something.
Something. Let me see. Okay, I will say that after her helpers in the house have spent probably 12 hours total chopping all the ingredients, Joanna's mom comes into the kitchen, throws a few shrimp into the bowl, and cooking, and everyone raves about how great a cook Joanna's mother is. So yes,
Justifiably so.
yes, she has great help. It's all about the support staff.
Well, but the whole point is that, so here, for example, we are just spending a lot of time.
There's a quite well, yeah. It was asked if they should peel the ginger first, and the answer is yes. Correct.
Ginger is peeled and then chopped in or diced.
Peel ginger first.
Okay.
There's a great scene from one of Anthony Burgess's novels where he has a poet named Enderby, and Enderby's learning to cook, and he's tasting something, and he says, "Oh, not bad, not bad, a little crunchy. Note to self: peel garlic next time." So,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Peeled ginger like this. Okay. Again, half the ginger, everything. Please, everybody, just half whatever. Half is enough. Okay. And then I can put it into the nice bowl.
Don't cut your finger on that cleaver.
Oh, I have cut my finger on the cleaver before. Thank you very much. Okay. Then the other one is our nice greens. I'm so sorry, but we are all going to get repetitive motion. And the repetitive motion is chop, chop, chop. As I said just now, you can choose today, our houses who have your wonderful ingredients, either to do the Shanghai cabbage or to do the chives. And it's basically the same type of thing. Once you've washed it, you just chop, 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 chop. You see how labor intensive this is? And so now comes the whole idea is that the Chinese love making dumplings. But the idea of dumpling is, Ken, you want to say a little bit about the dumpling and the history of dumplings and, you know, dough and things wrapped inside?
Well, it's been very interesting because if you follow the history of food and the old debate of whether noodles came from Italy or China, actually the idea is that it sort of came in the middle, you know, along the Silk Road, basically around the Persian, Turkish areas. And basically there was very little differentiation before whether the dough that was baked or fried or boiled. Basically they made a dough, they filled it with stuff, then they cooked it. And it went off in different directions. It got pulled literally toward Italy, toward China, and it became Italianized and Sinified on that route. So in a way, this is sort of the old history of bread and pasta. This is the earliest pasta in existence, and linguistically as well. You know, manti, depending on what language you go in, whether it's Persian or Cantonese.
Excuse me, Joanna, you're chopping the greens now, right? And you're doing half.
I'm doing half.
Half of everything.
Half of everything, except the thing is, no, actually, no, I'm not doing half. I'm doing all of what you have, which is about half a pound of either you pick the cabbage or you can pick the chives. Don't mix them though. Okay, hang on. Either you do all of this or you do all of this. That was provided by Sesha, okay? And I think also, again, everything is, what do you call it? Up to all sorts of interpretation as to how the proportions go. But this is basically, actually, I think this is too much. This is basically, if you now look at it, it's a lot of tofu, and it should always be, because the tofu is what actually absorbs the flavor, as also tofu is the protein of the filling.
The substance.
Okay. Yeah.
And the greens you've been chopping are bok choy and chives, correct?
I'm choosing to do the bok choy. I'm not touching the chives today. Chives will be known as tomorrow.
Ah.
So people at I-House who actually already have your choices, actually, if you really by mistake mix all of them together, that's fine too. It's also the more the merrier, not a problem. But
And
I was hoping that
you did make the little omelet in advance, correct? You did that right at the beginning.
I did the omelet right in advance. I'm now going to put the omelet inside. Oh, look at the nice. Ken Smith, we need your back, your camera again, because
And the omelet is basically scrambled eggs, just not too hard, right?
very light scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
And now if you look, you will see how it looks like. So at this moment, this bowl has ginger, scrambled tofu, mushroom, and whichever the leafy cabbage you're actually making, that you're chopping it and put it in. Nice.
Very nice.
Okay, so now we're going to start working. First of all, we're going to try and do a very simple stir. And if you're stirring, you will see that they actually do kind of stick.
So you don't really need any binding?
It will come. The binding is known as the egg. But before the binding, we also want to do a little bit of the seasoning. Sesame oil. I know that everybody got a little bit of sesame oil. I am a sesame oil addict, so I own up. I put in a lot of sesame oil. Just now, what I put into here is the equivalent of, I would say, probably a full teaspoon. And then this is just, happy white pepper. This is interesting. The Chinese tend to use white pepper. The rest of the world, Asians tend to use white pepper. The rest of the world like black pepper. White pepper, the difference is that it's just a little bit, it's a little bit more tasty and it's less spicy. So it's really very much as a seasoning rather than something to actually add spice to what you eat. And as you see now, as I'm mixing it up, whatever the larger pieces of tofu, larger pieces of whatever you call the egg, I would just break it up. Okay.
And
Now,
all the I-House residents should know that Joanna personally donated the white pepper that they are using.
yes, one of those things in life, right? Okay, so now that we are done with that, I would also add a little bit of salt, but again, I'm not a very big salt person, and there's a reason why. Remember, we are making fried dumplings, which means that at the end we will have dipping sauce. And if you don't think this is whatever it is, that it is salty enough, your dipping sauce and your soy sauce will already do it. So to under season the dumpling filling is not a problem. Does that make sense? I'm just very healthy, conscious. Thank you very much. And that's why I just want to make sure that we are actually all in, on the same page. And so this is it. Do I need to say any more? Okay, egg is the final binding, and you will see the difference. Ken, can you, yeah. So this is, it's kind of sticking, but not completely sticky. Is everybody seeing it? Okay, I know that we have some Chinese residents, two ladies, Yao and all those. You understand what I'm saying? So now I add the egg, and once I add the egg, they really stick. And so it now becomes a...
I'm sorry, I had a question.
Yes.
So we mix the scrambled eggs, the ginger, the tofu, and you crack the egg into the mixture?
Yes, one egg into the mixture. And remember, you also have your mushrooms?
Yes.
Okay, so we have, this is a 4-ingredient filling. Tofu, mushroom, eggs, and leafy greens.
Bad number. Don't you have another one?
And then we add some extra ginger because it's good for us and all that. So it's fine. Okay. Okay, so now you see that this is now a filling that kind of sticks. And I tell you, and this is important, everybody now, please now get your teaspoon. No tablespoons, don't be greedy. I'm gonna say it again, don't be greedy. No tablespoon. When we make dumplings, the filling should actually be just basically a heaped teaspoon, okay? tablespoon would be so big and so much, your poor dumpling is gonna burst and it's not gonna look pretty. Okay, so everybody please now take half of your packet of dumpling skins and put the other half in the fridge. And also because this is, what do you call it? This might dry up. So I would say use a Ziploc bag, or I'm gonna get a Ziploc bag. Use a Ziploc bag or something to actually store the half of your dumpling skins and put it back in the fridge, okay?
Should they do that with the second half of their tofu as well?
Yes, and the second half of the tofu. When you store your second half of your tofu, can you please make sure that you put some new water into the tofu container. Tofu cannot be left dry in a fridge. They would dry up and not be pretty. Tofu has to be kept in the fridge covered in water, okay?
So they'll have to re-squeeze the water out of it next time.
Thank you very much. Re-squeeze, good for you. Okay? So we are set. We're now ready to start doing the very exciting part. Okay, use a surface, and I tend to have this wonderful cheese board. My husband doesn't like it. I use a cheese board, but I like a cheese board because cheese board is good.
It's the cheese board for dumpling. So using the cheese board as a cutting board is bad.
Okay, use a cheese board because it is one flat surface and it is dry. We need a surface to put our dumplings once they are wrapped up. That is a dry surface so that then we can transfer it to the pot. Okay, take a very beautiful piece of round dumpling skin that is pre-made by you. Next time for the second masterclass is roll your own dough, but we're not going to do it yet. Anita, you agree, right? Roll your own dough is going to be the next time. Okay, but this time Twin Marquee, which is a great company that is based in Brooklyn. They founded it in 1989 to make dumpling skins and noodles. And if any of you turn up online, and Twin Marquee is kind of nice because they expanded from Chinatown to Bushwick, from Bushwick into New Jersey. And they also have kosher certification, which is great. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And they have the green certification. So they sort of like, is award-winning, very environmentally conscious and good for you. Okay, if everybody is more or less now ready to start wrapping, we have to do one thing. A small bowl with water, just plain old simple water, which is for dipping your finger to wet it. Okay, we want to make sure we have a little tablespoon to go into the filling. Okay, I'm now going to do number one, dumpling. Is everybody ready? Okay, pay attention. This is number one dumpling. What I'll do is this. Teaspoon, middle, and use the back of the, just use this. You see what I'm doing? I'm using the teaspoon. I'm sort of pressing it into the palm of my hand. Clear? I'm using it, pressing the palm of my hand. Now, it sits very comfortably. And now I'm using my, wet a finger and wet the finger all around the dumpling. I will do it so many times, you're gonna be able to dream of this. Okay. Okay, and then what I do is this. I fold it in half, and then I use thumb and index finger and press this top. You see that? I was pressing this top really tightly. Everybody clear?
Crimping, crimp.
Crimp. Okay, now comes the important part. We are making fried dumplings, which means that we want the fried dumplings to look beautiful because the fried dumplings has to have fried parts that are good. So now the half moon or the half circle that is facing me, right side wetted, left side wetted, but only that front side that is facing me. Okay, now I'm folding. I'm crimping 1, and then a 2, and then a 3. And so now you see that I have already made this right half done. I will now do asymmetrical the other side, okay, left side. Crimping 1. So whatever those folded pleats are the folded pleats that is on that front part of the dough. Now, so this is how the front part of the dough looks like. And now I'm going to show you the back of this dumpling now. The back of this dumpling looks like this.
And that's the side you'll fry it on, right?
No, the side you're frying on is the bottom. You sit it in the bottom. So the bottom, the part that is going to be fried is all of this. You see, it's a nice half moon. Well, we also call it the half bottom. You know exactly what I mean. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will now do dumpling number 2. We'll just keep on practicing. Now you see that that's why you have 40 of them. By the number 40 dumpling, you'll be done.
We have a request for a more intense close-up of the crimping.
Okay, intense close-up. Husband, thank you. Okay, husband. Middle, okay, you remember? Teaspoon.
A very
Okay.
judicious
Sit
amount.
down. Okay,
Now wet the edges.
wet the edges. Thank you, John Wells. John Wells, you've been to my home. You've done it before.
I've been on the crimping assembly line.
Okay. And now,
Several of us have.
and now
So
This-
when we're wetting the edges, do we wet the inside or the outside?
just the inside, just the inside. Okay. And now that top half, crimp it and really, really press it. Okay. Now the folding again. Okay, this is the right side, just the front part facing me, just this right side. And now I fold 1, 2, 3. And the left side, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the bottom of the dumpling, back of the dumpling that has no folds. Front of the dumpling has 3 folds on each side.
And this is where the portion of the filling is very important, right? Because if you had too much in there, it would be too full.
It would be too full, it'll spill out and it's not pretty.
It'll
So
pop.
again, husband, please show 1 teaspoon. You see that? You really can see that. This is 1 teaspoon, okay? And again, let me just do it again. So this top part of the dumpling skin, the entire circumference, okay? The entire circumference, okay? Wet. And again, I will fold top here, press this top together. Okay, right side, fold, 1, 2, 3, fold, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, fold. Whoops, whoop. And then left side, 1, 2, 3. Third. Okay, I would love to see some I-House. You see, I noticed that some of the I-House residents have all switched off their cameras. I'm worried.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
To make the mix of like tofu and chives and mushroom, we need to add an extra egg on top of like the omelet we made earlier.
Yes, of course. Really, I mean, for the filling, you can do anything. And also, my husband normally loves meat. So normally we would also have extra ground pork in there or ground beef in there too. So really, anything that actually helps you, would you mind doing it? Anything that helps you so that your dumpling filling is not too wet. I think you understand what I'm trying to say, is that you cannot have dumpling filling that is so wet that it just runs. Okay, so you have to have dumpling filling that is, okay, we're gonna do my number 5 for you again.
Chef, there's a question.
Yes.
Have you heard of kosu katais?
No.
K-O-Z.
I'm going to say that because it's koracates.
Oh, thank you.
No, I don't know. What is that?
They're a special dish from South India that's made during the harvest festival, and they're so similar. Yeah, and they have sweet and savory filling. So I just wanted to ask if you heard of them.
No, I don't, but now I'm learning. That's great. I mean, really, I think a lot of cultures, and the thing is, another reason why dumplings are so popular is that I know I'm now one person, well, two people household, one person holding a camera, my husband. But normally dumplings are dumpling parties in which so many people can participate in the assembly line. And then once you participate in the assembly line, midway through, a batch is already done. And so you can take a break and then eat the dumplings. And then, after hanging out for a little bit longer, you can go back and make more dumplings. And so that's really the festive and the festiveness and sharing. That's the nature of what this is. And maybe I just say a little bit more. Everybody knows Chinese restaurants. Chinese restaurants in America are not really Chinese food anywhere else in the world, and definitely not in China. But it has to do with immigration. And the largest group that came in at the beginning was actually middle of the 19th century to build the Transcontinental Railroad. But after the railroad was built, and that we're talking about 150 years ago, in 1860 or 1859, somewhere around there, the Chinese laborers were not actually given the rights to own land. And so they ended up actually in ghettos. And that's actually how Chinese restaurants came about. And first of all is to cater for the immigrant community. And then afterward, when Chinatowns became places that people liked to visit, by the late 19th century, Chinese restaurants became the fashion. But all over America, as you can imagine, there are lots and lots of Chinese restaurants, even in road stops and little towns. And they cater to whatever the audience likes to eat. And that's why you have the problem of, okay, I still do not know how to make chop suey, and I have no interest in making chop suey. But those were the days in which chop suey is basically the equivalent of, big stir fry, which, is possible. You just stir fry everything. But fine Chinese cuisine became the norm, or became much more popular from the 70s onward, because other Chinese people started actually immigrating to America. And so you have Northern cuisine. For those of us who live in New York, especially I-House in the 1980s, like me, we will remember all the Hunan and Sichuan cuisines. Because people love spicy food. Okay, you see that I have now already made, this is my 10th dumpling. How are people doing? Nobody is showing me any photos of what they're doing, and I'm really scared.
They're intimidated.
No, they are not. Okay, does anybody want me to help or do more demonstration regarding the wrapping and the crimping of the dumplings? Yes, no?
Yes, please.
Okay, once I'm done with this one, I'll do another one. Okay, husband, so this is plain old round dumpling. Now we have one little teaspoon all in the middle, okay? Everything all wet around the edges, the whole entire circle. Fold in half and press hard at that top part. You see that I have actually 3 indentations. Okay? After that, on the right side, just wet the edge that is facing you, and then fold. 1, 2, 3. And then now on the left side, exactly the reverse, so that you have asymmetry. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Would you like me to do another one? I will do another one. Okay, I can tell you one thing that is very good about making dumplings. It's therapeutic. And as everybody now must know, it is a matter of practice. Once you keep on practicing, you'll be fine. And also, in the end, let's just talk about the functionality of dumplings. It's very simple. When you make a dumpling, all you really, really must do is to make sure that it doesn't break. Okay, let's just say at the bottom, least the minimal requirement is that it doesn't break. So if it means that you use your fingers and just press them in whatever way you want, do it. Whatever way
Thanks.
you want
I
to
made
make it
some
happen.
dumplings.
Pardon? Sorry.
I'm just showing you a picture of my dumplings.
Oh, let me see. Let me see.
Do you approve?
Wait, I can't see. Who is it? Is it Frank?
No, it's Vineet.
Okay, I can't see.
Well, there
I'm
she
sorry
is.
because I can't, the view, I don't know which one it is.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
they look very nice.
Oh, thank you, John. My first ever. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. I can't see. I want to see.
I can see them. I think you would approve.
Oh, Vineet. I see Vineet. Oh my. Beautiful. And Maya, how are you doing?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is great. Oh, this is wonderful. Somebody take photos. Oh, I am so happy. We're happening. Good. Now that
Oh, wow.
I have done about 12 of them. When we get to that, we can just start doing our first round because we can do our first round, which is always good. And what I'm doing is, this is actually important, so I will very quickly explain. First of all, when you fry, it has to be a dry and a flat pan. I'm using a very flat pan, okay? Flat pan. And what I will do is just put some oil on, which is easy. And I now have it at, again, never do very, very high heat. And again, this is only one round. I'll keep on doing a second round so that this demonstration will continue. We are trying to do pot stickers, which means that it's something you fry and then you steam. So remember, it means that we must have a lid that is big enough to cover up, okay?
And Joanna, what kind of oil again? What kind of oil are you using?
Peanut oil, vegetable oil, canola oil.
Anything but olive oil.
No olive oil.
First of all, the smoke point is too low, and secondly, the flavor doesn't work.
Okay, so a little bit of oil. And again, I'm very health conscious, so I tend to do very little oil. Just warm, okay? Just warm. And now I want to just show you what I'm doing. Again, I will do it a second round, so don't worry. You remember just now I said that it's so important that our dumplings have this nice bottom that is flat. This is what happens. I'll put the bottom that is flat and I will arrange it in a nice.
Ooh, a spiral.
Spiral. Okay, so I managed to put in what? 9. I'll try and put 10. Just a good number. Okay, so careful. Really, we're talking about low or medium heat. Don't get too excited. Okay, I think the one thing about Chinese and Chinese history and Chinese culture is patience. 5,000 years of history. There must be a reason behind it. Husband, would you mind showing? We can hear the noise.
You got to have patience to do all that crimping.
Yes, and now what I'm doing is that. Okay, so basically what you're seeing is this is a very light fry. And I am crazy. I always do this because I know that the dumpling is actually, cold, not hot. You will now notice, if you look, that there is a little bit of light fry and a little bit of very, very light brown dots already of this dumpling bottom. You remember the dumpling bottom? I want the dumpling bottom to be beautiful tan brown. Everybody clear? But not burnt, okay? So I'm now going to demonstrate, well, I'm going to just check another one. Check another one. And so you see that we're all now doing in good shape. Well, I know it's good shape because I did it. Oh, this is not quite there yet. So I know that I can actually have it in this sort of medium, okay? Please, medium, don't do high. Medium heat, medium fire, light fry, so that everything is just slightly nice fry at the bottom. I mean, really, this is the type of thing that you want. And really, you I think this is one of the better ones. Okay, is everybody clear? This is what we're looking for. Oh, sorry, I have bottom up. Sorry. Okay, and also you see that I'm actually also just wiggling a little bit of this pan. I want to make sure nothing sticks. That's another. I know this is. My husband said, "Why do you call that pot sticker?" I tell you, this is called poetic license. They are called pot stickers, but they're not supposed to stick. Okay. I see the Anna household is very fun. All three of you are all like working very hard. Okay.
And it's not necessary to put a lid over them?
No, not yet. Because what happens is that we first of all want everything to be brown. And now, please just get some nice cold water. And we will now have our lid ready. Okay, you remember, so everything is already nicely brown, lid ready. And now I'm going to pour the water in the middle. You see this?
And then steam the rest of it.
And then now I'm going to close it and steam. I know, Sieja, I see you saying wah, wah, wah. Okay? So this is it. Now, okay? We are Chinese. We do not waste time. We are now going to continue making the next dumplings while those other ones are steaming.
Basically, the only difference is in cooking time. The consistency is a little bit, it's very much the same, particularly once you add the egg, but because the vegetable tends to be much drier than a meat would be. But other than that, every other principle holds true.
Okay, so I've done 6 more. Everybody happy?
You're rapid.
Well, no, I have more in the fridge, but I think I'm going to stop. I'm now going to lecture. I'm going to now lecture. Well, we were talking about the Chinese immigration and all that, and just want to say something that having been a part of the I-House community, and this has not been an easy few weeks, and it has been difficult, but it's nice to know that we have a community like I-House in which people do try all different types of food, and that openness is already, and the openness and the willingness is already the reason why we are here and doing what we do. And so just want to say thank you, and it's just been good. And my husband and I normally spend at least half a year in Asia, but because of what's happening with the pandemic, we have been here. John Wells, for how long?
year and a month?
without flying. I know. I don't even remember how to fly anymore. We have completely forgotten what is jet lag. But regardless,
Well,
we know.
You don't know how to fly, but you still know how to fry.
Okay, yes, I can still fry. And the thing is, so another thing you need to know is that the reason why we're making this today is that, believe me, and this is a age-old Chinese wisdom, we make these dumplings, maybe you don't make them and wrap them as perfectly as I might have done. It doesn't matter. If you fry them, it's still very good food. Because my husband always says, fried food is its own food group. Okay? Because what happened is that once you fry it, Ken husband, you have to show it. Once you fry it, the dumpling stays in the shape as it is in the pot. I mean, in the pan. And so the dumplings will actually keep its shape. It will not break. It will be a spiral. Okay? A good old days when people make dumplings, they might not be very well wrapped, and they boil them. The first thing that happens is that the entire thing will just burst out in this beautiful floral bouquet, which means that you can't eat it. This, you know you can. On that note, husband, you want to give the masterclass on making the sauce?
No,
Oh, I need better lighting, apparently. Well, doesn't matter. I'm
I was
now
going
going
to say
the
it's sauce
masterclass of
time.
making the sauce. Oh, actually, start listening. All of you start listening to your pan. There is something when water is steaming, it has a certain sound. When the water has stopped steaming and you actually hear the oil crackling, that is when the dumplings are ready. So just listen, and this is wonderful. It is a way of being very attuned, your ears attuned to what you're cooking. Okay, I hope all of you are listening a little bit, because mine are now actually getting to the point in which the water is evaporated, but the oil is still there. Okay, I'm gonna get my big serving plate so that it looks fancy for you. I'm sorry, we are slightly over time. Are we? Are we slightly over time?
We are, but you got to do the sauce.
Oh yes, sauce is very simple. Sauce is known as 1/3 soy sauce, 1/3 Chinese vinegar, and then 1/3 sesame oil. And then you're done. This is your dipping sauce. Let me start all over again. Dipping sauce. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
Now, how particular are you about what sort of the sesame oil and the soy and so forth, the type that you get?
I get anything that I can find in Chinatown. Also, at this point of what shall I call it, of the pandemic, if you don't mind, go down to Chinatown to shop. And another thing is, I just want to say, today the ingredients for all the I-Houses are actually made or delivered and ordered. Thank you, Sieja. Ordered from a place called AsianVeggies.com. It's a great little story of New York and resilience. During the pandemic, this company in Brooklyn, the father was actually a wholesaler of Asian veggies. But poor thing, because all the supermarkets and restaurants were closed, they basically could not do anything. And the son, therefore, changed it into in AsianVeggies.com, Asian-veggies.com. And Sieja did that, and they do amazing delivery. And okay, you see this? The dumplings are actually able to be dislodged from the pan. Actually, I need to do this. Yes, dislodged from the pan.
I thought everything was going to be provided by Panda.
No, not Panda. Okay, everybody, ready? This is Joanna and Ken, dumpling number 1, in which we will just do that. Okay, he wants me to do it this way.
Ooh.
Okay, So, well, apparently I was not quite right with my fire. One side is a little bit browner than the other, but it's okay.
It's
The important,
perfectly fine.
yeah, the important part is, let me just give you a tablespoon. You have to be able to hear. It is cracking. Can you hear this? It's cracking, 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 cracking. Okay? And so now you have your dumplings. And now you can do your second round, do your third round, and do your fourth round until when you get them all perfect. Because I have given you enough ingredients, I-House Northers, until when you are perfect with them this weekend. You're going to have a lot of dumplings this weekend. Okay, dumpling now. Okay, Ken Smith will now demonstrate making the sauce. You want to put it
Is
here?
it vinegar? This is our preferred soy, actually, for this. This is Lee Kong Kee, which is a Hong Kong company. And this is the double fermented soy sauce, which is their highest in the line. And this is the pure sesame oil from Kadoya.
Yeah, the Kadoya is the best, the Japanese one. Okay, so it's just 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
And if you happen to like more vinegar, don't feel bad about putting more vinegar in. Likewise, if you're a sesame queen or king, then you add more sesame.
I am a sesame queen. I am a sesame queen. Okay. So I think we are now set. And so I just want to say thank you for being here and keep on practicing. And again, just remember, everything is functional. Just make sure that your dumpling is sealed. If it's sealed, you're done.
And don't put too much filling in.
And don't put too much filling in. Okay, don't really. 1 teaspoon is exactly correct for this size of the dumpling skins that I got for you from Twin Marquee, which is actually based in Brooklyn. We are trying to buy local and support local. Okay, Ken, you want to say we have to take a bow? We're going to take a bow. And show the Anita slideshows, because then it shows the I-House community doing it all together.
Yep, I will share my screen now. Thank you for joining us, everyone. If you can please email us your pictures of your beautiful dumplings. We would love to post them on our social media platforms.
And I'll be over in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I want to see the slideshow.
And these beautiful photos were provided by Anita.
Thank you, Anita Harabon, for the photos from the 2009 dumpling party. Look at those. They look pretty good, Joanna.
They look very good. Actually, you know what? Some of them were very, 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 super big filled. That's all I'm going to say. Some people are quite greedy with their dumpling fillings. That's all I'm going to say.
They took a risk.
Yes, yes, yes. And thank you thank you everybody who participated. And I look forward to seeing many, many, many of these dumpling photos.
Yes.
And enjoy your meal, okay? I'm leaving now.
Everyone. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you.
It was wonderful. Have a great evening.